Talk to me about ECW. I forgot you were not only
No,
there.
there's nothing. So at the time, the indies were rocking and rolling. Okay.
Right.
Paul Heyman was always I knew Paul when we were 12 years old, taking pictures together at the wrestling matches. We sat together at Madison Square or Shea Stadium, whatever year, 1980, whatever it was, when Bruno had his revenge cage match against Larry Zbyszko. So Paul Heyman used to go to the shows with Bob Mulranen, who runs the wrestling couple websites, whatever he does now, Wrestling Figs and all these other ones. Takes pictures to this day for the magazines and websites. And my dad would take me, and that was the big, we had to see Bruno get his revenge against Larry Zbyszko. So we knew them. And we sat together at Shea Stadium. And again, we knew each other since we were kids. Fast forward now, Paul was a manager for Savoldi for a while, a couple of times, and that was it. And then fast forward now to he was in WCW for a while. At that point, it changed a little bit. So let me think. WCW was before ECW. What was? Yeah. What, 92, 93, 94. Yeah, 93, 94. So now Paul was kind of running things in ECW. And the problem was I was real busy because coming off WCW, now, you know, the indies are now all of a sudden you have use the term loosely, a name. But to the indie promoters, you're a name. You're a local drive-in. You've been on TV for, a year and other TV as well. You're a name. So we're getting booked 3 shows, 4 shows a week. All of a sudden, ECW starts running, canceling shows. And remember, it's not ECW yet. It's, Eastern, and it's, Joe Goodhart, then it's Paul Heyman, it's, Todd Gordon, whatever.
It's a Johnny Hotbody, Tony Stetson era, right?
Yeah, Rebel and all those guys. I mean, it was just another indie. It was
right.
Again, Taz, they got that New York influence because that's where Heyman was from New York. So you got Taz and Dreamer and, Ray Odyssey coming from Jersey and, the guys that there's nobody you don't know. And got to the point that now ECW Arena, now they're starting to build it. They weren't bloodthirsty yet. It was close. So we did the little schmaz where they made us tag team champs. Stetson and Hotbody won, and we did a little run in, won the belts. So then all it was like one cancellation after another. And I'm doing these bookings and I'm like, I'm losing bookings because they're giving me dates and canceling dates. And I said, you know what? Got to the point where you didn't care. Like, in other words, I don't know where they're going to be in 10 years. We couldn't get enough bookings. Like, you know how you wanted to wrestle 8 days a week when you're at that stage in your career. So did I. So I'm getting bookings and they're the only ones canceling. Like, Dennis is calling me and all the other guys that were calling me for, it was busy. It was a good time to be in wrestling. And then they did a phantom title change where we lost the belts and never looked back. Never, ever, ever, even once exchanged a phone call. No regrets, not one regret, not a little bit of a regret. Like I said, it was a time and place. It was Philly. I'm sure my career would have went a whole different route because you're going to be a different character. And believe me, if they could get Dreamer over, because Dreamer was as much of a baby face as I was, and he had to pay his dues. They had to beat the snot out of him just to get him, the fans feeling sorry for him, which led to him. Again, but Paul Heyman protected him from day one. Him and Taz were his right-hand men. I can't say that would have been me because I didn't really have other connection with Heyman, the New York connection with him. He always took care of Tommy and Taz, and the rest is history. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about. And again, no regrets. I watch some of these videos. Half the guys are dead. I watch these videos of like guys diving off the balcony, cracking their cranium and all this other. Oh my God. Oh, rest in peace. Rest in peace. And just the drug scene that it created. Heavy, heavy, heavy drug scene. Not me. Never was. But I guess they needed it to get through. But again, great guys. Shane Douglas, he dealt with all kind of dependencies issues after that. Rehab. These guys were in rehab left and right. And I saw Shane, like I said, a month ago, loved the guy. We broke in at the same time. And I'm glad he cleaned up because it wasn't him. It's just not, he's an educated, brilliant person. You know, he was a school teacher, educated, college, everything, way smarter than any other wrestlers that you're ever going to meet. But he got hooked. And that disease can hook anybody. And it just broke my heart because that was never him. And it even got to him just because he was around it. So, you know, again, but no, ECW was a non-existent factor for me. Very small factor. No regrets.